American Idol, America's Got Talent, and the granddaddy of them all, Star Search.
Oh, God.
The common thread, a performance is evaluated. Judges share their opinions. There are myriad opportunities all around us in life every day to formulate and enunciate our opinions. Let me read a passage from a Toastmasters manual here. Although most of the time you will be evaluating the speeches of others in your club, the skills you learn can be applied in all aspects of your life. You will become a better listener and a more critical thinker. Certainly skills we all aspire to. So here then, in our speaking laboratory, why, week after week after week, is the evaluation portion of next week's roster empty? Perhaps it's intimidation. I know that one time I thought, oh, I could never evaluate so-and-so, they're just too good. I'm sure many of us have felt the same way at times. Well, what I have tonight is yet another methodology and formula to help with evaluations. I've already made one reading out of this manual here. This is a manual that we all have, except the guests, because you get it with your Toastmasters new member kit. This is the Effective Speech Evaluation Manual, Tips and Techniques for Giving Helpful Evaluations. I like this one a lot because it's short. It's 14 pages. You can read it in the parking lot on your way into a meeting before giving your evaluation. So that's one tool, and we all have it. I recommend that you read it. What I have for you tonight, however, is another tool. This is, and I apologize in advance for not having enough handouts, this is the evaluation sheet, the evaluation checklist, sorry, and judging criteria that will be used for the evaluation contest next week and subsequent evaluation contests. We'll go through this a little bit here. First of all, there are 4 areas that you see on the front. And I use a mnemonic to remember the 4 areas. The mnemonic that I use is STAR. Whoops, I did that backwards. S-T-A-R. STAR. Summary, technique, analysis, and recommendations. Or perhaps it's better, STARS, S-T-A-R-S, because in a good speech, you tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them what you told them. So the beginning and end should be the same. Anyway, let's go through this a little bit here. First, summary or summation, as they say on the front here. You'll notice it's 15% of the total. Looking on the back, I'm looking at the bottom here now, there are some words about this. Summarize the evaluator's comments and suggestions. Well, when I'm trying to think of the summary, when I'm thinking up an evaluation, listening to a speech, what I'm looking for is what my good friend David Koppel has titled the big good. I'm looking for the big good, or the most impactful, if I can coin a word, thing about the speech that I've just heard. It could be something about the speaker's dress. It could be something about the content. It could be something about the manner in which they delivered their speech. But it's the one most impactful thing, and I use that to formulate the introduction and conclusion of my evaluation. Now all I have to do is fill in the middle. Okay, so that was S. The next one is T for technique, and our words for technique here are sympathetic, sensitive, and motivational. Well, we all know what it's like to hear a motivational evaluation. We've heard them all the time. It's great to be in the audience and hear a motivational evaluation, and it's even better when you're a speaker to hear a motivational evaluation. It's the tone in which the evaluation is delivered. Maybe I can illustrate by negative example here what not to do. Chef Ramsay might evaluate something like this. Jiminy crikey, what were you thinking? Not motivational to me at all. However, as Grace knows, there are clubs in town that do these types of evaluations. And, well, enough said about that. The next section here is the A, analytical quality. I'm going to jump right to the back here and look at what the words say. Identify specific strengths and weaknesses of the presentation. Specific strengths and weaknesses. Well, the way I do this is I draw a line down the paper, I put a plus on one side, a minus on the other side, and what I'm looking for is four or five things to list as pluses and minuses. This is identifying the what's. And the analysis comes in by asking the question why I listed those things as significant to the speech and how they affected the speech. That's the analysis. That's what I try to put some words around when I'm thinking about my speech, my evaluation of the speech. The final is R for recommendations. I'm going to go right to the back page again here for words. Specific recommendations for improvement. Specific recommendations for improvement. Well, maybe that's where the motivation, the intimidation factor comes in. Improvement. How can I tell somebody to improve when they're just so good? Well, what I'd like you all to do is forget that word improvement completely and instead substitute the word change. Suggestions for change. This is our speaking laboratory. We should be comfortable with experimenting. We should be comfortable encouraging other people to experiment. So recommendations for change. It opens the door. So what have I covered? Opportunities exist all around us for evaluating. It's a good skill to have. We looked at a reference, the book that we all have. We looked at a tool. I think that everybody should evaluate each and every speech that we hear. Just sit at your chair there and write down some notes. If we all do this, in no time at all, everyone in this room will become star evaluators. Mr. Toastmaster.